Hello, uglies. Desmond's here.
And LaCresha.
And welcome back to the channel. And today we are here to discuss episode 7 of season 5 of the Boulet Brothers Dragula.
Dragula.
So, before we get started, I just want to remind everyone to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We are so close to our goal of 500 subscribers, and we would love to reach it by the end of the year. So, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. We promise you will not regret it. So, LaCresha, what do we think of this week's episode of Dragula?
Um, it was a pretty decent episode, you know. I
feel
miss
like it would have been better if
JK.
JK was there.
Exactly. I was gonna say I kind of miss JK. You know, there's no drama.
There was still some drama.
It was orchestrated drama.
Very much so. They don't have nobody to blame for all their problems now.
Exactly.
So let's go ahead and get into this gig. So we start off the episode with them in a freak show.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say the other word because circus. We can say it's a circus. I thought it was really cool when they turned on the lights here, and I was like, oh, I love that. It was really cute. We're not going to stay on it too long because we know how you feel about those certain things behind it.
Oh my god. Ugh. Wait a minute, because going into the episode, I was just like,
I really thought the theme this week was going to be clown.
Exactly, because there was so many, and I was like, oh, well, LaCresha won't be doing this episode.
And I'm like, oh no, she's not going to be able to make it through this episode. But
I made it through the last clown episode they had during Titans.
Barely.
But I made it. So,
But yes, they come into the laboratory and they're sitting there discussing, and they're like, yeah, JK's gonna go. Third time in the bottom, already been eliminated once, even though if I was judging, that would have been JK's first time in the bottom. But hey, eyes be quiet, eyes be quiet. So once again, the queens are, now that the Boulets done said it, now the queens are coming at the Blackberry. Who are you, Blackberry? I don't know who you are, when this whole time y'all had no problem. I just find it odd that once one black person left, y'all start ganging up on the other two. I'm just saying. If 1 + 1 is 2,
and 2 + 2 is 4.
Then why the fuck are y'all doing this?
Why is 7 + 3 11 and not 10?
Goodness gracious. But yeah, I personally understand who Blackberry is. Blackberry, like Blackberry said from the jump, they are a jack of all trades. Whatever you need, I got that for you. It's going to be professional. It's going to come together in a cohesive look. No matter what it is. You want horror? I got you. Glamour? I got you. Filth? I got you. Glamour? I got you. I feel like I missed one and repeated another one, but that's okay.
Glamour, horror, filth.
I don't think I said horror. Horror.
You didn't say horror. You said glamour twice.
Yeah, I knew one of them I said twice. But yes, it was just like, come on now. Don't start this. Like, this just, like you said, it just seems like something they got to come up with now that JK's gone.
Yes, manufactured.
So we get a little bit more of the Organic and Neo relationship.
Ugh.
Yeah, I say the same thing, but I will say I do like how it's being handled this time, because if this was Titan, this would have been, all we saw for 8 weeks.
Oh my god.
So I can handle the little bit at the beginning of each episode. They're like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, yeah, they're done. Okay, I can handle that compared to what we were getting.
Where that was the whole episode, was their drama.
So, but I do also like that they both of them were like, hey, yeah, I like getting to know you, but I'm here for this crown. If I need to chop your head off, I will.
Yep.
I might cry afterwards, but I will. So we find out that, and before Fantasia comes in, can we talk about how long that moment was before Fantasia showed up?
That was long.
I'm like, are we trying to fill time? What is
I
going?
think they were.
I would rather see more of them getting their outfits together than more of that.
Exactly.
But anyway, Fantasia comes back into the laboratory with her alien baby, Fantasy.
Fantasy. I
You know,
love how like mothering she was. She
yes.
was like it was a real baby, and I was like, "Is that a doll?"
So the alarm goes off and the Boulets pop up on the screen. So they announce two things. First, that the floor show is a 1980s haunted house look that also
Right.
showcase a UV blacklight situation as well.
Mm-hmm. Some
1980s.
folks didn't get the memo.
Let me say it again. 1980s
1980s
haunted house.
haunted house.
1980s
1980s.
haunted house. But part of me, I will say this because I don't think nobody hit the nail on the coffin this week. I
Mm-mm.
really think they told them something else for the black light UV look. And when they
Yeah.
got there, they're like, oh, it's going to be 1980s haunted house. But that's not what you told us to bring.
Right.
But anyway, they also announced that there's going to be a fright feat. That they have to do a face of makeup from the 99-cent store. Now, they didn't mention in 10 minutes here until Coco Kane showed up and be like, oh, yeah, you got
You
10
got 10
minutes.
minutes.
I'm like, oh, we don't want to be considered drag race, but yet here we are doing a quick drag. Here we are. You know, I've said this
Here
for a
we
while now. Just
are.
embrace it. There is
Similarities.
similarities and differences, but let's not be afraid to have the similarities. Okay?
Exactly. I mean, you're not carbon copies,
Yeah.
and there are always going to be comparisons between the two. You guys are always going to somehow end up doing the same thing all the dang time. So just embrace it and, go from there.
Yes, I agree. And as you can see, they got bloodier this week. And look, the
And I'm
short
looking for it, and this time I kind of see it a little bit.
the short one got some a little bit above the eyebrow, because you know how we said they ain't going eyebrow up.
Uh-huh.
Well, we got a little bit here above the eyebrow, right
They
there.
they they smudge the eyebrow.
Yeah, Swan was like, you know what? Bloop, there we go. But y'all gonna have to eventually get these wigs a little bloody, honey.
Okay.
A little bloody. But yes, Coco Kane, our first ex's sister,
Yep.
popped up, and she is going to be the judge, host, whatever you want to call it, for this mini challenge. And this is what we
Mm-hmm.
find out they only have 10 minutes to do this. I'm like, oh, I thought they were going to give them time to actually do a face with just
Right.
makeup from the dollar store. Nope.
Mhm. Nope.
Coco King said 10 minutes and get to it, honey. So afterwards, they all looked a mess, if you ask me,
They did.
except for Throb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it still looks a mess, but compared to everybody else's mess, looks good.
Think the two best for me were Throb and Blackberry, honestly.
The two best for me were Throb and Neo, but I think Neo gluing stuff to her face is what really made me be like, you know what? No.
Exactly. I
But I
think
thought it was funny that
she
she got the glue out her wig. Like, who keeps glue in their
in
wig?
their wig.
I love that. I really did. But we find out that the winner is the Rob Zombie, and they have won immunity for the week. So afterwards, we see the monsters getting their looks together, and I love how they still have the dollar store makeup on while doing it
Right.
until they left and came back for a new day.
Uh-huh.
But once they were getting ready for the actual floor show, Neo went to Throb for some masculinity lessons, and oh, this was just
Mm,
so funny to me.
it was
It was so funny. It was so cute. I enjoyed this moment. I
of
was,
humor and
oh,
camaraderie.
I loved it. I loved it. I did. I did. Even though Throb is not my favorite person right now, this was a cute and fun moment.
It was something that was needed considering everything else going on.
Yeah. So now we get to the floor show on the main stage, and we have the Boulets. What do you think of their looks?
It looks like a robe they just kind of threw on last minute.
I have to agree because the makeup, I'm like, their makeup looks really good tonight. But these outfits, it's like, was the original outfit didn't fall through, so they're like, oh shit, what can we do?
Right.
Oh, let's put these on.
Right.
Because it just, I don't know, I didn't like it. I didn't like
It
it.
makes the look feel unfinished.
So before we introduce our judges, it's time for my favorite question. Roxy St. James, you are to bring a 1980s Halloween haunted house,
Haunted house.
reflective by blacklight look. What would you have done?
I don't know. That's a hard one, honestly. I have no clue.
Listen, I'm not sure if it's just because we saw clowns at the beginning, but for some reason when I heard 1980s haunted
You said
house,
it.
I'm like, clown. I could do a clown. And then the clown
Uh,
makeup could be what was reflective as well as the outfit. And then you know me, I love a good reveal. So I could have ripped something off and been like even a sluttier clown. Would that be the black light, what they see on the black light?
the transformation.
Yeah.
Um, maybe some version of Freddy Krueger.
But yeah, I really feel like the Queens and Monsters really got a different prompt because none of them, there was one that was 1980s. But the
Right.
others, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, where's the haunted house?
Mm-hmm.
One was close. One was
Yeah.
close. But the others, I'm like, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
So, we are joined this week. We are joined this week by the winner of Dragula's Titans,
Mm-hmm.
Victoria Elizabeth Black.
Yes.
I was happy to see her. We
Mm-hmm.
were very team Coco Kane in this house.
Very much
We
so.
were very much so. But, Victoria did do a good job.
Yes.
So, it's good to see her back. And I
Yeah.
need to
And
know, are the
besides, I've seen more Coco Kane this season than Victoria Black, so I'm not mad at it.
also, are those contacts or her eyes really that red? And that's the case, sis, don't get that high before TV starts.
I'm pretty sure it's contacts and something she put in her eye to make them that red.
Okay. Because I'm like, it could be either or. But just the case
But
is,
she did seem high.
yeah.
AF.
And she just took Jinx Monsoon's line, which I know it's not Jinx Monsoon, but every time I hear line, I think of I think of Jinx from All Stars 7. But hey, we love you mostly. So, we're also joined by our special guest judge, Darren Stein, who has been a judge on every season of the Boulet Brothers Dragula.
They said every season and every iteration, yes.
Yes, in every iteration. That's important too. Thank you. Thank you. So, let's the floor show begin. Up first is Throb Zombie.
Of
Out
course.
of all of them, I think Throb was the closest to the assignment.
Yes, because Throb kind of went for with the Exorcist vibes.
Yes, like I could have seen this in a haunted house back in the 1980s.
Carol Ann. Wrong movie, but still, Carol Ann.
So, what did you think of the actual looks?
Um, I agree with the horns. Like, I get the horns, but I don't know. I guess there's no way of really hiding those horns prior to Dayglow.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the horns could have been on the actual head, and when they turned on the black lights, just take off the hat.
facts. Facts.
That could have. They wouldn't have been as big as the horns are now, but that could have been
Right.
one way to hide them.
Yes, very much so.
But yeah,
Um.
overall, I really enjoyed this look. I enjoyed both before the black lights and after.
Mhm.
Honestly, I thought Throb, even though Throb had immunity, I thought Throb was going to take it. Throb or somebody else, and then they gave it to somebody else. We'll talk about it. So let's move
Yeah.
onwards to Fantasia Royale Gaga. Whew, this was a rough week for our good sis.
Okay.
The rip down the back, I don't want to say it was a rip, but it was coming undone in the back. You could see
Mhm.
where her feet was coming out. It looked like it was a struggle sliding down that stage.
Yeah. The boobies don't help.
And the black light looks good. I'm like, okay, that's cute. I like that.
Right.
But it was a lot going on here.
Yes.
What
And
did you think?
I think what she was trying to do with the underbelly didn't help. And if I was going to do a snake, I would have been like a regular snake there, like with the lights on. And then once the day glow hit, I would have turned into the snake from Beetlejuice.
And see, I was really when she was talking about how she was gonna be a snake, and then when the UV lights come on, it will show that she was actually eaten by the snake. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't see. Hold on, I'll blue blue. I didn't see that from this.
I didn't either. Because the thing is you could see the rib cage outline in the outfit with the lights on. And I'm like, if you were gonna try and change it so that it looked like, oh, I got eaten by it, you should have hit your rib cage a little bit better.
And honestly, if you were gonna do that, I would have been upside down inside of the snake. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To where when the lights came on, it looked like it started here and made its way down.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to Blackberry. What did you think of Blackberry's looks?
Um, I didn't get really 80s, and it wasn't a transformation to me. It was just kind of like an enhancement. Other than that, it's really well made, really put together, really polished. Just wasn't the completed assignment to me.
This is actually my favorite look of the week. I see where you're coming from with it not being completely the assignment. I would see this in a haunted house. We do get those pharaoh like Egyptian
Right.
look, in a haunted house. It does not give me 80s though. I will say that.
Right.
But it's so well executed. Like I really enjoyed this. I really
Right.
did.
And I think what would have sold it for me would have been if she had had like day glow bandages underneath all of that, and she could have turned into the mummified zombie underneath.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But
But other than that, I agree.
let's move on to Orgotic. What was this?
We was just about to say the same thing. What the was that? Nothing read 80s. Nothing read haunted house.
I am confusion.
Look, and that's what they said. They were like, I am confusion. And I'm confused too.
It's just, well, I'm glad they're actually starting to say stuff to Orgotic. I think it's because we're getting to the point where they can't just
Smooth
ignore.
over it
Yeah,
anymore.
because they've been doing it all season, but we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and they're like, okay, we can't save you if you're not doing the assignment.
Exactly. Because Orgotic just
Excuse
takes
me.
it and does whatever the heck they want to. And I think, because they did mention once they got the assignment, like, I have no point of reference. Okay, fine. But there's this lovely thing called the internet.
Yes, Google is free.
So you should probably take a look at that.
And that's my thing. Like, I didn't know the steampunk reference on Canada's Drag Race. I think this will air before this one. But I looked it up and I'm like, oh, that. Now I know what I would do.
Right.
It's easy as a simple, okay, 1980s haunted house. A Frankenstein.
Oh.
Like, that's the one thing I hated. We were missing the classic. Like, this was a good
Right.
chance for classic monsters. Where was Frankenstein? Where were the witches? Where were the clowns? Where were the vampires? Like, this would have
Okay,
been
because
the
I
week.
really think that Fantasia would have made an excellent Bride of Frankenstein.
Like, this week would have been an amazing time to do some of those more classic ones that you would have typically got read for if you would have done it.
Exactly.
But hey, up next is Cynthia Doll. Now, she got the
Organic looks
1980s
like
down. She got
she
the
got the
19,
80s
yeah,
there.
she got that part. But that's, I agree with the Boulets. This is more Raver Girl
Right.
than old haunted house horror classic La Di La La.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, what did you think of these looks?
I wasn't a big fan in all honesty. But then again, I have like not positive feelings towards Cynthia Doll.
I don't know. She walked out, and the first thing I heard is the phone rings in the middle of the night. My father yelled, "What you gonna do with your life?"
All right, Cindy Lauper.
And it doesn't help. For those who don't know, Pink Friday 2 is out. And on that album, there's a song called Pink Friday Girls, and it samples Girls Just Want to Have Fun. And I've been listening to that a lot too, so it's probably a mixture of both. The look does give it, but then the song has been in my head, so it's just like, okay. So up next is Neo Huru X. Now, what I want to say, this look is amazing.
Yes.
I was like, what Neo did here, mwah. It's not the assignment.
I think it's her country's version of the 80s because she did do Hello Kitty.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
You hear me, but you don't care.
No, there was no but. I hear you. I'm like, I didn't even think of it. I'm looking at it through an
An American
American
lens.
eyes, American lens. And I got to remember with Dragula, there are contestants who are not from America.
Yeah, just like Organic is not from America.
But yeah, that still didn't excuse whatever that was going on over there.
It really did.
Like that, like this. I like this look, especially when it goes in the dark. Like, this was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Was amazing. What did you think of this look?
I liked it. They sold it really well, and it was. I agree with the judges. It was really nice to see a different silhouette on Neo-Ruhu.
Yes, and it's just. It was a good. It was good. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
So we have our six monsters here. Who had your favorite look?
I'm gonna agree with you and say Blackberry had my favorite look.
Yes, Blackberry did have my favorite look. And we find out that Neo is the winner of this week's challenge. At first I didn't agree.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we've had our conversation, I'm like, okay, yeah, Neo won. Neo won. Now that I've took off the American lenses,
right,
and realized, there are people from other countries here.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with Neo's win.
Yes.
Do you agree with Neo's win?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you couldn't have Throb win because they had immunity, and
Throb
that
still could have
would
won.
have been. You think she could have won still?
Honestly, if they wanted to go, like I said, Throb was the closest to even with me knowing this, Throb was the closest to the assignment.
Right.
So if they would have said, Throb, you're the winner, I wouldn't have batted an eye.
I mean, I wouldn't have been mad at it.
Because just because you have immunity, that doesn't mean you can't win, in my eyes.
Right.
Oh, wait. All right, so we find out that our bottom two this week is Cynthia Doll and Orgotic. Do you agree?
Yes.
I agree wholeheartedly. We go to the cauldron, and again, a normal cauldron. Love that for us. So let's get to this week's extermination. They have to make their way through a maze. But if they make a wrong turn, they will be volted with however much?
10,000 volts.
10,000 volts. And if you pass out, you're immediately exterminated. It would have been funny if they both would have passed out and we would have had a double elimination this week. Can you imagine when they come back in the new year, they're all just sitting there waiting? And they're like, is somebody going to come through? And then the alarm goes off. So they're like, wait, they both went home?
And Neru would have been so sad.
Oh, she would be so sad. But yeah, I enjoyed watching this. I'm not sure if I would want to do this extermination. I think I would have got zapped once and been like, you know what? That's it. Y'all got it. Y'all got it. Or do a fake pass out. Be like, oh, look, I passed out. Because,
you know, I think, like, it was just, to me, it seemed like a really easy extermination. And I think Cynthia just, instead of like, okay, let me correct, because obviously this way is not right, so let me go this other way and see if it's right. It was like red, 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 red every step she took, and she would not correct at all. Because I think, honestly, like, they catered the shocks to whoever was in there and what they were doing. And she just kept going straight. And they were just like, okay, well, fine. Every time you take a step, it's going to be red. That's just my opinion.
But yes, afterwards, we find out that the eliminated monster this week is Cynthia Doll. Do you agree with Cynthia's Doll's extermination?
Yes.
I do as well. Cynthia has been Cynthia.
Yeah, exactly.
So she got chopped up by a chainsaw. But that's all I got.
Yep.
So, LaCresha, where can they find you on the social medias?
You can find me at Cresha McGill. That's CRESHAMCGILL on all social media.
And you can find me on all social media platforms at Simply Desmond. That's SIMPLYDESMOND. Thank you so much for spending a piece of your day with us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see y'all soon. Bye.